What's happening, Andy here? I am joined today by the Marks of Epson. Well, one is with Epson and one is recently retired. How are you guys? Mark Mathews, Mark Roslin. What's happening with Epson? How are you?
We're doing great. How are you?
I'm doing
Doing
great.
very well.
I'm doing great. Great to see both of you guys. And we're gonna start with Mark Mathews real quick. And we had news. What was it? About 2 months ago now. At this point, maybe
Yep.
even more. I think it was about 2 months. You
Yep.
retired. Once again, you retired, and we said our goodbyes. And it was kind of a bummer, but we wanted to get you on sooner during your last week, and we just couldn't pull that together. So Epson was nice enough to set this up, and I thought, well, we have two guys named Mark. This is great. I'm sure we can have some kind of fun with this. So let's check in. Let's start with you, Matthews. What's happening? Where are you? What are you doing with your life?
Well, I officially retired on the last day of June, June 28th. Walked in the office, turned in my computer and my phone, and declared it a wrap. Left everything in great shape and in good hands. And just relaxing. I got a couple of big trips planned. You know how that is. People retire and they do big trips. So I'll be off to the Europe for a couple of weeks, got a trip back to the Midwest, back to see my mom. So be on the road, getting probably more frequent flyers in the next 60 days than I typically get when I'm working. So
Well,
it's quite good. Quite
that's
good.
always the way it is, though, right? I mean, it's just
Yeah.
you wind up with more trips, but they're fun trips. So they're the ones you've been putting off. They're the ones you want to do. Um, how did it wind up? How did your farewell tour go? Tell us how you ended it.
Well, we had pretty good notice. So I think we'd been planning on this for a while, and Mark's actually been in the wings for a while, getting prepped and getting ready. So we let everybody know internally and with our key customers and across. And so it's been a very smooth transition and had a few fun things at work and a few things with some other people's. And it came to a nice conclusion. Almost makes you want to stay, but then at the end of the day, you say, no, I think I'm good. So it was a nice way to exit and quite enjoyable and quite fun.
Well, I know you were having a lot of fun. The last time I saw you was quite an accomplishment, actually. It was you were at the Visual Edge dealer
Yep.
conference, and you guys had announced signing them up, and Shaquille O'Neal was involved.
Right.
Um, it was quite an event, right in front of their whole company, and you had rolled out this video with their
Yep.
executives and Joe Contreras, and it was just a really cool thing. What a treat it is that you guys work with somebody of that caliber, and it brings some cachet to it. But one of your last achievements, I guess, signing a major dealer, a major reseller like that. So that was a major congratulations point. And we're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss seeing you at these events. Hopefully, we'll keep in touch. And we're going to come back to you in a minute. I've been making Mark Roslin sit here and wait this whole time. But Mark, give us some background on you. Who's Mark Roslin? Where did you come from? What have you done, and what did you do that you wound up in this spot here?
Good question. Well, I first and foremost, I want to extend thanks to Mark for kind of laying a lot of foundation and for all the work he's done over the past, was it 7, 8 years, Mark?
8 years, 9 if you add in the consulting. So it's been
Yeah,
quite a
nine
run. Yeah.
years of really helping to shape our kind of direction and helping the organization really learn from scratch on how to operate in this industry and what's necessary to be successful. So a lot of that foundational work was really with Mark's support and leadership over the past number of years. So I'm the beneficiary of that. That's what I'm coming into. And I've actually had the opportunity to work for Mark for over a year now, as I was doing some special projects and kind of getting oriented in this particular area, as well as some of the other businesses that Mark was running. So had a front row seat to kind of learn and absorb as much as I could. I've been with the company for 14 years now, so I've been with Epson for quite some time and in a variety of different positions. So I started in the strategy group and moved into product management in Latin America with responsibility for point of sale. As you may be aware, we're the world's leader in point of sale receipt printers and solutions. So I managed that business for a few years in Latin America and then moved into North America with the responsibility for consumables and then added scanners, new business initiatives and software, and then got pulled into commercial projectors and ran that for a couple of years, 2.5 years before I was asked to, move into the print, commercial and industrial print area most recently. So I've had the benefit of moving around Epson quite a bit and just do the rotations and get familiarized with our business across the board. So it's been a fun journey, and this is absolutely the most exciting assignment, I would say. We've got big opportunity, big challenge ahead of us, and I'm really thrilled to and honored to be taking over the reins from Mark, because I got big shoes to fill. But yeah, really looking forward to driving this business.
Well, Mark Mathews has certainly set you up for success, right? I mean, it's funny because I think back on 9 years ago, and I remember meeting, I think it was Chicago, when they rolled out the first, legit A3 copier, right? And they flew us out, and a bunch of people came out in small groups. And first we were shocked to see Mark back, because he was referring to the consulting role. So that must have been about 9 years ago. And just to see the growth, it just the amount we learned about what Epson does, because to my discredit, I guess, and because I'm kind of, or was like this back then a little bit more, and I didn't really have any idea of how big Epson was, and what I mean, I knew them from inkjet printing because of my home inkjet Epsons and what I saw in retail. But if you're not in this channel, I don't know about you. And Epson back then really wasn't in this channel. They were very niche with some very select products. I knew some resellers here and there, but very few that would sell wide format. But I had no idea about the other parts of the company, the projectors, the making, just the chip manufacturing. So, Mark actually set up that trip you set up that brought a bunch of us over and a bunch of dealers, including visual.
Right. That was a great trip
to Japan, right? We learned so much about who Epson was and just the size. That was a big flex. We had no idea this size, the massive company that is Epson. And our channel is pretty big. And it's an opportunity for Epson that really they didn't play in at all. And so, I would say the last 5 years, 8 years, you guys have worked pretty hard on signing up a lot of dealers. You have product now. And so here you are, Mark. What are you going to do with it? So what's your year look like now? What do you, Roslin, what is your year? I don't want to hear your year, Mark, because I'm sure it's involving a lot more fun than mine and Roslin. Actually, mine's pretty fun, so I shouldn't complain. But Roslin, what's coming up for you, for Epson, for people in this channel? What should we be looking for?
Yeah, so as you, I think, recently noted, we just launched our A4 line of copiers. So really excited about yet another step in fleshing out our product portfolio to complement our A3 offerings. So now the AM series is, broader lineup of high-performing machines with great feature sets and common UI across the board. So we're really excited. That allows us to, step further into the market and take advantage of some of the migration of demand away from A3 to A4 devices and some of the print volume. So I think it makes us well positioned to capitalize on that, long-term trend. So we're really excited about the portfolio expansion. We're leaning into taking our message more directly to the end user. Obviously we're always really heavily leaning on our channel partners across all of our businesses. Actually, this is kind of a universal theme for Epson, is to work closely with channel partners and support them as a path to the various markets that we serve, just because our business is so broad. So we value that relationship greatly, but we understand that it's a pretty enormous undertaking to disrupt this industry. 30 plus years or 40, maybe more years of sort of, operating under kind of one mode and with one technology, laser being, the incumbent technology. So we're trying to disrupt that. And it takes a lot of effort. It's, as you are probably seeing, and as Mark can attest to, it's a lot of education, a lot of awareness building, a lot of convincing folks that we have a great solution and a superior solution. So we're taking more of that burden on our own shoulders to take that message to the end user, and then work closely with our partners to fulfill on the demand that we create. So that's a big, shift, I think, for us this year. We're trying to position ourselves more to provide a greater level of support for our partners to overcome that, initial activation energy of getting end users convinced to try inkjet in this new context. So we're excited about that. I was actually, you guys talking about the factory tours. I was just in Japan for a global product meeting, but I happened to visit our factory where we assemble the print heads, and it was astounding to see, how sophisticated our technology. You're always reminded in those instances like what the company's all about, and for us, it's really about technology, innovation, manufacturing skill set. We're, as you may know, pretty vertically integrated, so we build everything from the chips all the way through the finished product. So we take a lot of pride in that, and put a lot of energy and effort into making the equipment that would deliver to customers as strong performing as possible.
Well, one of the things I think, this is where you just learn. You just never know where you're just going to pick up on things. But certainly that trip was one eye opener after another. I never really thought about the name Epson and really the name Seiko Epson and what that brings to it, right? And Seiko watches precision. And I didn't know the backstory on that. And that's maybe for another call, because that was fascinating too. The reasoning behind that and how they got that off the ground. But just the idea of, we're setting up this company to make the most precisely operating mechanisms on the planet. And whether that was in watches, it made it itself into this inkjet technology, into print, being able to, because if you think about it, I mean, if you really think about it, like the idea of just spraying through a straw liquid and having it come out on a piece of paper looking like a photograph in layers, and it's incredible that anybody could make that happen. The real issue is, and we could go back and forth all day on whether it's better. I do believe it's in many ways a superior technology laser. What is it about laser that is just keeping customers holding it, so in just why won't they let it go? Roslin, we'll start with you, and then we'll talk to Mark, who's not working for anybody now. See what he thinks.
I get it. It's funny because when I started with Epson in the strategy group, we looked at going after the office market and the laser bias, as we call it, the preference for laser.
Well, it's quieter, right?
Yeah, back then.
Often cheaper. I'm talking about ink, right? It's quieter, it's cheaper, it's more environmentally friendly, it's less garbage for you, it's less parts and stuff for you to store. Why did it ever take off? I just don't know. What do you think?
I would say, there is that the saying that nobody ever got fired for buying IBM. It's the same concept. Nobody gets fired for buying laser. It's a low risk strategy to just buy the same technology and stick with what you know. And certainly, to be fair to the decision makers and the folks that are on the end user front, they've got bigger issues to deal with usually than print. Print is not necessarily at the top of their, hierarchy of needs. If you're running an IT department, if you're running facilities in an organization, so it's really, they're focusing their energies where the biggest issues are, whether it's infrastructure, security, all of those things, communications, and then. So at some point you get down to the printing equipment and it's not an area where folks are particularly adventurous. So I think there's some of that inertia there at the end user level. And to be fair, the market is quite mature. The business model is very mature and well established. The dealers do a great job of supporting their customers. So contract renewals are, as
It is tough
high
to crack
level
into
of,
that bid if you're not the one
yeah,
writing.
that's right. That's right. The incumbent has a huge advantage. So I think
Yeah.
it's a number of factors that make it difficult for an upstart like Epson to come in and penetrate. And so that's why
Well,
we feel
especially with
like
the alternative technology, because we've seen other
yeah,
companies come into A4 and do quite well. And I think you're probably doing fairly well in A4s in this channel also, but that's not, that's not what you're after. You're
right,
after the copier business. So
right.
Mark,
That's right.
let's, these guys and you've been on both sides of this. You've been on the laser side of it in some of your past roles. You've been in the obviously running Epson and taking Epson, helping them basically from scratch start signing dealers up for this program that you helped build and develop. You know, I know you must have seen it and felt it over the years, the resistance to inkjet. Not necessarily as much from the dealers, but what's your advice to Roslin over here looking forward, going down the road? What can he do in your mind to help keep pushing this inkjet message and get better acceptance of the product with customers?
Yeah, I think Mark did an excellent job of summarizing some of the challenges of switching to inkjet, right? So people are comfortable with laser. It's a safe bet. You got the incumbent in place. And I think you've heard my story, Andy, about why I came on board, and I truly believe it's a superior technology. There's great benefits for the dealer, lower service requirements, lower cost of operation. Great way to go get net new business. And I think Mark hit on something that was really important is, we're very channel centric. I think what you'll see from Epson and what we put in place was to really start to help the dealers tell that message directly to the end user. So to go in and be disruptive and go after that, particularly for the dealer, that net new business that they can't get today with their incumbent machines. That's how you win. And there's a huge environmental story here. So if you have customers that are big into sustainability, that angle, it opens the door for us. It gets us in the door. We've won some significant business just with that story. We see dealers with better P&Ls. So it's a tough deal. None of us are saying it's not. And I think one of the things that was exciting for me when I joined Epson was they play the long game. When we were there, we
Yeah.
played the long game, and we are not there to win in 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years. It's 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We will be in the top number one, number two, or number three.
I
Absolutely.
do think as as we keep moving forward and as the subsequent generations start moving into more prevalent roles and managerial roles, I think the inkjet I do think it's going to get accepted a lot more. I think kids coming up now don't have the bias, that was established when
Right.
when print really got rolled out. It was laser, or inkjet back in the day was inferior. We know there was a point in time when it wasn't as good, and then it got really good really quickly. And we're at a point today where I don't think most people care what comes out of the printer if they just want their prints, right? I mean, maybe that
Right.
buying person, that person inside who signs their name on the contract is worried that, geez, if I take a shot on inkjet and it doesn't work, they're gonna light me up, right? So I get that fear, but as we move forward, as you guys keep providing, evidence of customers that have switched, case studies that show that they're happy, I'm sure, and success stories of dealers closing big deals. That's really it. It's two-faced, right? It's you got to get the customers wanting it, but then you also have to have the dealers want to sell it.
Right.
One of the things I think is such an advantage for you are the other areas that, with the diversification message we have in this channel, you guys are so sweet. You're just in such a good spot for it. Projectors, wide format, large format, the receipt printers, you guys, are these things that you are are you actively signing with dealers now as well? Is this part of the package when they sign up for the A3, A4 program? Like, how do they get involved in these other products that you have? And do you need to carry print to carry these other products?
Yeah, we don't tie the programs together, so we let our partners decide how they want to engage with Epson. But certainly, obviously, we are very open to, welcoming folks into the fold in other areas as they see it. Like, there's a lot of interplay between wide format and the copier world. But we also see interest in the point of sale and label printing. So there's a number of even print area kind of adjacencies that make a lot of sense and can be of interest. And then, of course, projection, traditionally kind of in the AV channel. But again, when you have customers like education, there's a huge amount of, use of printing and projecting equipment in those kind of verticals. So it makes a lot of sense. And we are very open to it, but we don't predicate, the sale or the purchase of our copiers on those items.
When these projectors are not just, boring PowerPoint projectors, these things are, the range of these is pretty spectacular from, just, I guess, little home ones that people would have. We actually have one we got in the pandemic. Everyone was bored and we were trying to do big shows outside. So we did that but up to these massive ones that you guys have that are in museums. We saw examples of this in Japan. A whole museum was run at the Museum of Light. There was some incredible museum that took us to using Epson technology and just the things they could do with this stuff. Just awesome, right? So, but with the diversification, with dealers looking for other products, it's got to be something that I would hope that you guys are really staying on top of, because that's such, I think, an opportunity for Epson. Just the print is, as the vendors are consolidating and they're losing, people they can sell. Your name is going to keep moving up that list, but those other products, I think, make you, and just that's the icing on the cake is that, I get printers, but also, scanning technology and projectors and just other stuff that my customers, need, right? So I wouldn't say it's the whole package. There's plenty of stuff they also need from, the Amazons of the world. But, from a technology standpoint, you guys really have, especially when you're looking at hardware, with service contracts, many of them come with, by the way. So, it's exactly right up the alley of what these guys are looking for. So as your year, we're halfway through the year, Roslin, what's going on with Epson the rest of the year? Do you have are there road shows? Are you going to be at conferences? What CDA, SDG, any of those shows?
Yeah, so we'll be at the quarterly BTA meetings, so you'll see us represented there. We also welcome, so one of the things we do a lot of, Andy, is bring people to our own facility to kind of tell the full Epson story. So we call it the Epson Business Briefing Center, Executive Briefing Center in our headquarters, and that's a place where you can actually see the whole story and see all the variety of products that we bring to the market in full kind of context and glory. So it's really eye-opening. So we always welcome folks to our HQ to really get familiarized with what Epson is capable of. And we also offer sales excellence training on inkjet in particular. So we bring in sales reps from our channel partner, from our dealers, to really get trained up on the core value proposition, inkjet, what it means, what it offers, and how to speak the language and how to articulate the benefits to the end user. So that's how we engage in the market, in addition to just our regular meetings with channel partners.
Well, that training is just awesome, though, because I mean, even like Mark touched on it, Mathews touched on it when I was at that Visual Edge launch, and these guys came literally running up to the machines afterwards to see them, because when you start putting that silver bullet in their gun that says, okay, look, everybody else in the deal has laser, and you also have laser, but you also have something different. You have something that's maybe more economical and maybe more sustainable and all of that stuff, but that comes from this training program that you're talking about. And I I've been through enough of it, cold, good, hot, what is it, hot, bad, cold, good, or something like that.
Oh, no. Heat, bad, cold, good. Let's get it right, Andy.
I was close, though. I was saying
I've been working on you for 9 years. Come on.
I learned the point of it, though, was that cold is good, right? Cold is good. And I mean, but that's the kind of training that's invaluable to these reps. So, I would recommend anybody who's selling these Epson products to get in touch with you, and we'll put some contact information, or they can contact me and I can get them in touch. Anyone watching this video. So,
we call
and
that
then going
earning
forward, go on. I'm sorry.
we call that earning your chip,
Yeah.
Andy. So those who successfully graduate from the training earn their chip, and they get to carry around the precision cord chip, so that they can share the story. But I think the key thing to emphasize is that, you know, we always look for a win-win-win proposition in the market. So we got to deliver a win to the end user, which is where the inkjet value of lower energy consumption, lower waste, and all of those benefits that we talk about at the end user level are really essential. But also we got to deliver a win to the channel. So it's how do we help them? And this is where the low intervention, the higher mean time between visits, all of those factors really come to play to deliver a win to the channel. Especially if you look at the macro trends with the tech workforce, service techs, you know, aging out, and it's only going to become more and more difficult to service the machines in field. So I think long term, we're really well positioned against that macro trend. And then those two wins for the end user and the channel allow Epson to win out by growing our market share and our presence in this new category. So that's a key fixture of how or our philosophy of how we approach things.
Well, you know, you're exciting to watch, and I look forward to helping out with whatever you guys need going forward. And I'm going to flip back to Mr. Mathews. This is it, man. Another last way to wrap up of what's happening. But words of wisdom, anything you want to leave us with?
No, it's been just a wonderful ride, and I've just truly enjoyed the industry. You can still reach me. Most people have my contact info. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm not disappearing. So, you know, feel free for anybody to reach out to me and connect with me. Happy to do it. I leave excited that Epson's in a great place, right? Built a solid base of customers, a lot of good stuff in the pipeline, differentiated technology, a better story for the dealer, better story for the end user. So lots of upside, and I encourage all the dealers, if you want to, as you mentioned, if you want to look for something different that'll help your P&L and make you differentiated in the market, Precision Core with Epson is the way to go. So anyway, thank you for all your support over the years, Andy. It's been a pleasure, and hopefully we will see each other soon.
I look forward to it. And Roslin, I will see your team down there in San Antonio at the BTA event, and I look forward to it. So thanks for coming on, guys. It was great seeing you, Mark Mathews. Well, both of you guys have a great rest of your summer, and I will see you hopefully in the early fall. Take care, guys.
Thank you
Thanks,
very much,
Andy.
Andy. Thanks, Mark.